Today, I will be discussing how to set up a drift car. I will discuss cars that will drift from the factory, basic modification, and advanced vehicle setups. What I will discuss will be based off of my experience, indirect experience, and research. So starting off, there are a few cars that will drift stock right out the gate. An example of these cars is a Nissan 350Z, Nissan 370Z, Mustang, Camaro. Basically, anything rear wheel drive, preferably with a manual transmission, a low center of gravity, and enough power to spin the wheels. These cars, especially one in a higher trim, can be used right out the box for drifting. It will not be the optimal drift setup, but if you're a beginner, it's more than enough to get you started and get you enough seat time so that you're ready for more parts. If you have a different car that does not come ready to drift right out the box, the first modification you should consider is a welded differential. What you do is pull out your differential and weld the gears so that both tires spin at the same time. If you have a vehicle with an open differential, I would suggest that you do not drift it because it is uncontrollable and you can have an accident. Besides a welded differential, there are also limited slip differentials, or LSDs. Most factory vehicles come with a viscous limited slip differential, or a VLSD. These differentials lock with the viscosity of your differential fluid, so you cannot really expect them to be that reliable. Once the differential fluid is hot, it is very unlikely to lock with the viscous limited slip differential. So I have personally welded my VLSD for my 370Z. A lot of people say that daily driving with the welded differential is a major issue, but your tires still last about the same time that they would if you didn't have a welded differential. I personally have driven on welded differential cars for many years and don't really have any complaints. One thing I'll tell you is that you'll use tires slightly faster when driving normal, but if you're going to be drifting your car anyway, this shouldn't be an issue. The extra wear will not be noticeable. Other differentials are torsion differentials, which lock better and are more expensive. A torsion differential can be found in certain vehicles, such as the Toyota GT86, the Subaru BRZ, the Scion FRS, and performance packages of the Mustang GT. These are only a few examples. If you have a torsion differential, you really don't need to upgrade for a while, as those differentials are known to be strong, reliable, and lock when you want them to lock. Once your car has a welded differential, you can pretty much take it out and start getting the feel for drifting. Once you get comfortable and want higher performance and are tired of the body roll of the vehicle, you're going to want to stiffen up your suspension. So I would recommend that you purchase true coilovers. Purchasing true coilovers will allow you to lower your suspension and will in the future allow you to change all of the arms necessary to have a proper alignment for better tire wear. After purchasing coilovers, it will be very beneficial to you to also purchase arms so that you can adjust your alignment. The arms that I think are most important are the rear arms that control your camber and tow. These arms can be the camber arm, the tow arm, or the traction arm. I'm sure there are different names for different arms on other vehicles, but that is something that I believe is standard. After you have these arms, you'll have more consistency in your tire wear, so it'll be easier for you to get more comfortable with your vehicle. You will also be able to become comfortable with certain tire brands, and you will know what to expect from them. Having a better contact patch on the ground will not only give you more control for your alignment, but will also allow you to have more grip and tire life. It's always good to have a proper alignment when you lower your car, because if you don't, you'll have a lot of camber, which will only use part of the tire, which will make it finish tires very fast and will require constantly flipping the tires to get the most out of them. So at this point, your car has a welded differential, coilovers, and rear suspension arms to dial in the alignment. Now, what I would recommend next is purchasing a hydraulic handbrake. Some vehicles have very good stock handbrakes, such as the Nissan 240SX. What makes their handbrake so great is that they lock the caliper, which means that they almost have a hydro from the factory. You can still upgrade the e-brakes for these cars as well as any other car, which will make them handle abuse much better. And in drifting, You may sometimes abuse your handbrake, so having an aftermarket hydraulic handbrake is something to definitely consider once you've been driving for a while. After you have a working handbrake and you're able to drive pretty consistently, you're going to want to upgrade your angle. There are many brands that make angle kits for many cars, but I would recommend getting something cost effective. Certain companies make angle kits for multiple vehicles, and those companies consist of WiseFab, Part Shop Max, GK Tech. These companies don't make parts for every car, but they make very good parts and are affordable. If you have a BMW, one of the best kits that you could get is the SLR angle kit. Having an angle kit on your car will help you take better lines and will allow you to drive with other drivers in tandem. Putting an angle kit on your car will make it more capable. It will be able to do bigger entries, it'll be able to tandem with advanced drivers, and overall it'll feel better to be drifting on. An angle kit will help your car have more potential in its drifting performance. It'll allow you to take better lines, bigger entries, and will allow you to tandem with friends who have built drift cars. After you have all of the parts that I have mentioned on this list, you will want to consider having a racing seat. A racing seat is important because when you have a lot of G-force in your car, you want your seat to hold you in place. Having a proper seat that holds you in place will allow you to focus more on your driving instead of fighting to keep yourself in your position. Before I got my racing seat, I used to have my legs pressed against the door, then against the transmission tunnel at every turn. So eventually, when I got my racing seat, it allowed me to drive faster with more control. After you have a racing seat, you're going to want to have some sort of roll cage for your protection, because a racing seat goes well paired with racing harnesses. You could put in a harness bar and a racing harness on your racing seat or stock seat without the roll cage, but running racing harnesses on a stock seat can make the seat collapse, and having a racing seat and racing harnesses without a roll cage can make it very dangerous in case you have a rollover accident, because you will be locked in place and your roof can collapse in on you. Once you have all of these parts, your car will function very well. Different cars will require different supporting mods. One mod that I would recommend for all drivers is the upgraded cooling system. This can consist of an oil cooler, an aftermarket radiator, a racing thermostat, a transmission cooler, a power steering cooler. Basically, these parts will keep your car healthier for longer and will allow you to be on the track longer without having to stop. They will also help you prevent from breaking parts, because some of the parts are put under extreme pressure while drifting, especially for a long period of time. I personally do not believe that power is required to drift. After you have all of these parts installed, you may want to get a differential with a different gear ratio. This is a step that can be done way earlier if your car has very long gears, which makes it hard to drift. But many cars come with appropriate gear ratios from the factory. Having the proper gear ratio can make your car accelerate better, which can help you have more control over your vehicle. It will also help you keep up with faster cars. If you have a modified vehicle that makes a lot more power than stock, it may even be in your best interest to get shorter gears, because you may be revving up the gears too quickly and not being able to use them. So gear ratio is something that you should do only when you're absolutely sure of it. It is important for you to do your own research so you can find out what it is that people use with your chassis. Everyone has different opinions and different tastes, so take your own situation into consideration when deciding what differential gear ratio is the best for you. Once you have done all of these mods, you can then consider upgrading your power. Some people like boost, others like nitrous, and others just like bolt-ons and a tune. Whatever you do, make sure you do proper research before to make sure you make the most power for the least amount of money. If you want, you can also do research on your state to make sure your car is compliant with your state's regulations. One important thing that I would suggest to all drifters is to purchase new tires. If you're able to get free tires from somewhere and use them as burners, go ahead. It's good to do that as a beginner because it gets you a lot of seat time. But once you're ready for more consistency, I recommend purchasing new tires, because you can do research to find out what tires last long and have the right amount of grip for you, and you can see what's the best bang for your buck. New tires are able to last way longer than used tires, so if you pay for somebody to install your tires, it is actually in your best interest to just buy new tires so that in the long run you're saving money per lap. Some of the tires that I prefer are Kenda, Federal, Accelera, and Westlake. Now, if your build has gotten this far and you have driven enough, you may want to consider competition. To do this, research the competition that you would like to join and follow their rulebook to build your car to their spec. I hope this video has helped you learn something about drift cars. If you're thinking about starting your first drift build, just go ahead and do it. It'll be the most fun thing that you can do. It's the best stress reliever and makes life a lot more fun. It isn't cheap, however, so make sure that you stay within your budget. It shouldn't be too hard to do that though, because there is a drift car for every budget. You can start drifting for a few $100s or a couple grand if that's all you have, and of course, there's no limit to how much you can spend. Thank you for watching this video and making it this far. If you guys build a drift car because of this video, please let me know in the comments section below or hit me up on Instagram. My social media is in the description of this video. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share with your friends if you enjoyed this video. The drifting community has been expanding drastically lately, and I want it to continue to do so. So talk to drifters, join groups, and get associated with the people that do it if doing so interests you. Thank you for your time. Have a good day.